Do you ever wonder why we as a people are constantly rising, falling, this cycle of being in a oppressive scenario, rising up, and then we make certain strides, all for that movement to come crashing down? It's written, actually, in Deuteronomy 28, it states, in verse 25, "The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth." So no matter what our plans, no matter what our movements, they will constantly be brought low. That's just one of the judgments that we've earned into this era. But I want you to know something very interesting. There's 2 sections of Deuteronomy 28. The first, which is in the passages 1 through 14, and the second, 15 through 68. 1 through 14 represents the ideals, what we could gain had we appeased God's righteousness. These were blessings. Notice that in Deuteronomy 28, and we're talking the ideal section, verse number 7 speaks about the enemies of Israel. And so in this dialogue, I want to discuss the concept of enemies who are against God's people and what we should know about them. I want to alleviate you from the guilt, the shame, the self-hatred that you might otherwise feel thinking about those who hate you as a demographic. I remember I used to be in this confusion within myself and trying to obtain value from other groups. Now I know that there's nothing I can do to change them, nor do I want to change them. And I believe we should focus our empowerment inward. I mean, just think, why would you change people that are not you anyway? God has given us everything we need, but within ourselves. And what you have to also understand is this. Most of the people that you're directly related to, you're going to realize they tend to be in our demographic. And so the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 28, 7, 10, and 13, and we're talking the ideal section, that we would have still had enemies, but the difference is God would have prevented them from subverting you. They had the power to do it. They would have tried, but he would have protected you from them. Likewise, you would have still had enemies, but they would have respected you. Not liked you, but be in a position where they had no choice but to leave you alone because they would see that you were the people of God. You would be in a position where they could not harm you, plot against you, because every single movement they had, God would thwart it. He knows they would have always been this way. And if we know that that's the ideal section and they still would have hated you, then I don't believe our empowerment dialogue should center what they do, what they think, how they feel. What's the point of caring? Because he already told you as judgment, they will destroy you. They will subvert you. They do have that power. So we need to get back to our God. We need to get back to our roots in him so that we can be the people that he has called us to be. And then we could be in a powerful position so that nobody can harm us. But trying to change them as if they are God, trying to get their love as if they are God, is not conducive. Our God is God, and he is the only one that we should be seeking validation from. We should be seeking his face, and understanding his love is more powerful than any of their hate. And I also want you to understand this. In Ezekiel, it says that their hatred is perpetual. So their hatred cannot be subjective if it's going to be perpetual. I wanted to say these things because it's time that we awaken from the trap of trying to win the favor of other groups, win their support, or even concerning ourselves over their issues, what they think about us, and how many of them hate you, how many enemies you have. There were many times that God helped Israel out of many different battles, and yes, they were surrounded by enemies, but God still blessed them, and he can do that to this very day. But one of the reasons you know who's who is how many people are truly against you as a population. That's how you know who the chosen are. But understand that that's not something you're trying to get their support or their validation. No matter what you do, you're never going to be able to change that because it's biblically written that this will always be. That is all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dialogue and stay tuned for more.